What's up, guys? This is Dave LeClaire, gaming editor from MakeUseOf.com, and today we're going to talk about something that might be a little bit scary for you. We're going to talk about Dota 2. Dota 2 is a very complicated game that has a ton of nuance that is very hard to learn, but it is possible. Recently, I've taken to teaching somebody close in my life how to play Dota, and I've realized that while I'm not the greatest Dota player in the world, I know a lot about the game, and I have a lot of knowledge that I can impart on people. So today, I'm going to show you 5 tips that you should know if you want to get into playing Dota. They're basic things, core mechanics of the game that the tutorial does not do a good job of teaching you. So alas, I'm going to teach you. So let's get right into it. We'll start with our number 5 tip, and we will go from there. Alright, so the first tip is do not auto-attack the creeps in the early stage of the game. So do not stand there just attacking them repeatedly. Because what ends up happening is you end up pushing the lane towards the enemy's tower. And you don't want to do that. Pushing the lane towards the enemy's tower is a bad thing. What you instead want to do is you want to try to time your last hits so that when the creep's almost dead, you walk up to it and right-click it. When the lane is pushed towards your enemy's tower, the enemy has an advantage. They're then able to get an experience range easier, and you can't really harass them at all because it's under their tower, which is an unsafe place for you to do your harassing. So again, you want to try to time your last hits so that when a creep is almost dead, you put a right click on it and you get your money. You never want to just stand there attacking them like this over and over again. You're not helping your team, and you're not helping yourself to last hit. You're only giving the enemy team an advantage that they want, and obviously that's bad. You do not want to give your enemy team an advantage. You want to have the advantage. Right now the lane is nice and under our tower, which is exactly where we want it, because it's easy for us to stay within XP range, soak up the experience we need, and it's dangerous for them to be here within range of the creeps. I can't even tell you how many times in a game where you get matched up with someone who's a little newer, and they're standing there auto-attacking the creeps, and you have to tell them, stop auto-attacking the creeps, stop auto-attacking the creeps, and they don't understand why they shouldn't auto-attack the creeps. Because the logic tells you that that's what you should do, and in fact, in the tutorial, it actually just tells you to stand there attacking the creeps to push them out. And that's how people get this bad idea in their head that they should be auto-attacking the creeps when they shouldn't. So, don't auto-attack the creeps, try to time your last hits when you see a creep almost dead, and you will find that you have a much easier time in lane. You end up keeping the lane closer to you, and you can farm better, which then gives you a better late game, which gives you better everything, especially if you're playing a carry. Alright, and the next important tip is to be mindful of where your camera is at all times. In games like League of Legends, the camera automatically stays centered on your hero. In Dota, you have to manually control the camera. So what do I mean by being mindful of it? So right now I have my hero centered more or less in the shot, which is generally what you want during the laning stage. Now if I were to move the camera up here and step up to the creep lane, if he starts attacking me, I can't safely have room to click behind me to run backwards. I end up clicking on my ability bar, which is bad. The camera's centered, I can easily click behind me and move backwards to safety. So you really want to be mindful of where you keep your camera at all times. You want to try to keep them in view, and you want to try to keep enough area behind you for you to safely make an escape if you have to. Now obviously you can manually move the camera in one of 2 ways, actually one of 3 ways. You can either use the arrow keys, which is a bad way to control the camera, and you don't even want to consider that. You can use edge panning to control it, and you can use middle mouse button to click and drag. Which way you go depends on your personal preferences and what feels comfortable to you, but you can definitely control it, but you want to try to have it set up in a position at all times where you can see the enemy and you have room to click to escape. You never want to set it up so that you're in like a corner of the map. Like, yeah, I can see them right now, but there's not much room for me to escape. There's not much room for me to click out. So you always want to be mindful of where your camera is. As you get to the later game, you want to be mindful of where your camera is in a broader sense during the team fights. You want to make sure that you are, again, able to escape. It's even more important then. You have room to escape if you have to, and you can see as many enemies as you possibly can. The camera has the field of vision that it has is as far out as I can go right now. So that's actually part of the game, is making sure that you have the right camera position in with the space that you're given. There's a reason you can't change a field of view slider and just zoom out further, because that would actually give you an advantage. You'd be able to see more of the map. And obviously that would be good for you because you'd be able to see more, but that's part of the challenge of the game, is manipulating the camera to work how you need it to. It'll come with practice. It's not something you're going to pick up right away. You'll still see people all the time who end up having yourself here, or they'll see something happen and they'll move the camera to another lane and look up there, but forget about themselves down here and not be ready to quickly look at themselves. You do want to keep your eye on other lanes and what's happening, in case, especially if you're playing in mid and you have to go out and run a gank. But you definitely don't want to just forget about your own lane in the process. You want to make sure that you're aware of your lane and you're aware of the other lanes. And like I said, you want to make sure that you have your escape ready to go. So talking about controlling the camera actually segues us nicely into our next tip, which is the mini-map. The mini-map is on the bottom left of the screen down here, and it is an absolutely critical component of the game that often new players forget to use completely and focus on just what's happening on the screen in front of them. You can see on the mini-map, you can see the little arrows in the X's, or the little circles that are arrow-shaped, and X's. X's are the enemy team, and the other ones are your team. So you always want to be looking down there to see what's going on. Like, let's say, for example, over here, the mid lane was missing, and I didn't see that X, and I'm down here on bottom lane. I need to be aware of that, because he could be coming down here to try to kill us. You can also use the mini-map as a tool to move. So let's say I did get the camera stuck out of position, and I'm looking up here, and I have nowhere to click safely. I can quickly click on the mini-map, right-click on the mini-map to move backwards. So I'm stuck up here, I can't see myself, they start attacking me, I can click the mini-map, and I didn't have a spot on the ground to click that was safe, but I clicked the mini-map and I moved backwards out of range. So the mini-map is a tool that you have to use if you want to become a better Dota player. It's a key part of the game. You need to pay attention to it. You need to glance at it and see where everyone is, and you can also use it as a tool to move. You can also use it as a tool to look at another lane. So if I want to see what's happening at top, I can left-click on top lane, and I can check it out and see what's going on up there, and then left-click back on myself, and I can see what's going on back here. Alright, so the next tip we're going to talk about involves making sure that you don't lose too much money when you're about to die. And it's actually a very simple thing that you can do, and it's called the quick buy. All you have to do is you go into the shop screen, and you drag an item to this box right above where the courier controls are. By doing that, you guarantee that you can buy it quickly in the event that you need to die. Now, of course, I already have the money for this item, so I would just buy it now. But if it was part of a larger item build, let's say I'm going for my upgraded boots, if I'm about to die, I can quickly press F5, which is the default keyboard shortcut to buy whatever is in your quick buy, and then buy that item to save my gold. So if this girl's about to kill me, I can quickly push F5 and buy out my items, and now when I die, the gold penalty will not be as much, because I've spent my unreliable gold and I have those items. So you always want to make sure that you have an item queued up in your quick buy so that you can buy it in the event that something unfortunate happens, like your death. Sure, you don't want to die, but sometimes you're going to. It's unavoidable. So always queue up your quick buy. It is a critical step. As soon as I finish making these upgraded boots, which I'm 100 and something gold away from, 110 gold away from, I will immediately come in and queue up my next item and have it ready in the quick buy, so that if I should die, I'm ready to buy them again, and I can buy the pieces out, and I can save myself some money, which in the long run will make a huge difference, and it makes dying not nearly as much of a critical penalty as it could be otherwise. Alright, and our very last tip is for helping your teammates out, and it is calling missing when you don't see people in your lane. So there's no one currently in my lane right now. The other team has left. So you want to call missing to let your teammates know that they could be roaming to their lane. Now there's a very quick and easy way to do that, and it's with the chat wheel. To access that, you push Y, then you move your mouse over to the one you want, which is missing, and then you release Y. And now it says missing bottom in the chat. That lets my teammates know that there's the person who's supposed to be here is not here, and they should be on alert because they may be coming to their lane. This is especially critical if you are solo mid, because the solo mid's job is to leave lane and gank, especially when they hit level 6, so they want to go to other lanes and try to kill you. So if you are solo mid, you need to constantly be aware of where your opponent is, and you need to let your teammates know that he left, especially if they're playing a gank-heavy hero, like Nyx or Pudge.
Your middle tower
Because they can go into the jungle, Pudge can go in the jungle, he
difficult?
can hook you, Nyx can go invisible and come to other lanes and pretty much kill most heroes in the early game with just his combo of abilities. So it's very important for your teammates that you call missing. I can guarantee you, if you want your teammates to dislike you, don't call missing, and you will immediately see no missing call, no SS, which is the abbreviation people use for missing. You will see them yelling at you about it all the time. So make sure you are aware of where the people you're laning against are, and make sure you're aware if they leave, and if they do leave, let your teammates know. Even if they've only taken a step back outside of your field of view, and they are in the fog, but they might still be there, but you're not sure, you're always better off calling missing when they're not actually missing than not calling it at all just because you think they're still around, but you're not sure. It's always a safer bet to call it. Now, if they come back to lane, you can say, you can press enter and bring up the chat and say RE to let you know that they've returned, or you could say Pudge returned, whatever you want. But you should let them know that they've returned as well, so they can take off their alert state, because they may not be watching your lane at all times, and they may not know that the person that you are in your lane has returned because they're busy doing their own thing. So you definitely want to let them know they've returned, but it's much more important that you let them know that they're missing in the first place. You can get your teammates killed, which will then lead to their mid being fed and having lots of items and lots of experience, which could then ultimately lead to you losing the game. So calling missing is a critical component of the game that new players just don't do enough, because it's hard to focus on all the things that are happening as it is. There's a lot going on in the game. So knowing that someone left is really hard to do, but it is very important, and it's something that you definitely need to practice.
The true path. Go.
So there you go, guys. 5 simple things that you can do right now as a new Dota player that are going to make you a better player. They're going to make you more of an asset to your team. They're just going to make everything better, and they're going to make Dota more fun for you. And that's what it's all about. It's a game. It's supposed to be fun. Yeah, it's competitive and everything, but it's supposed to be fun. So if you do these simple things, call missing when someone's missing in your lane, be mindful of your camera control, use the mini-map, set up quick buy, you'll be good to go. You'll have a lot more fun playing Dota, and you'll be a better player. Once again, this is Dave LeClaire with MakeUseOf.com. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. Make sure to subscribe to Make Use Of's YouTube channel so that you don't miss any more gaming videos, tech videos, our gaming news show, and all the other awesome stuff we put out. Here's some other videos for you to watch that we've put out recently, so make sure you check them out because they're awesome and you will love them. And we will see you next time we do some type of video of this sort.